All right, so we're getting started here on Tuesday night, episode 3. Sam Miyake has graced us with his presence. Updated intro slide. I'm Tyler, and who else we got on the line?
I'm Johnny.
And Sam.
And Sam. Check it out. I added our college teams, our presumptive pro teams, and then the place that we got in the regular season. So unfortunately, I did get 12th. Johnny got ninth and Sam got 10th. So I think this is the lowest possible grouping that we could have of three. So
Also the worst three college teams you could have sitting together.
I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Worst three college teams
Agreed. I agree.
That hate each other.
that hate each other. To be honest, I don't really think much of Washington State. they're
Wow.
they're not really on my radar. UW is on my radar.
That's a whole new podcast. Keep going.
I barely notice Washington State and what they do. Uh, we're here to talk about Sam's team and just kind of do a deep dive on his season. So we're going to take a look at the draft to start off with, which we've got up here. Sam, can you see my screen, by the way?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, cool. So Sam started off, and he had the 11th overall pick. And I got to say, actually, having Alvin Kamara slide all the way down to 11 in the first round, great start to the draft for you.
Yeah, I was that was surprising. Seeing all the quarterbacks. Honestly, I was when you picked Murray, I remember thinking, what the fuck is going on here?
hmm
Even more surprised to see Jacobs and Thomas go ahead. So yeah, I was
Yeah,
fortunate. I was fortunate there, and then Nick Chubb on the other way around. So it was a good start. But
dude, you
I
you
oh,
did
what's up?
exactly what I thought I was gonna do with two running backs, and you did it in the 11th round, which was amazing. I was impressed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it started well, but I think I underestimated how quickly quarterbacks would be taken. So it kind of ran
the
into
super
yeah,
flex dynamic, I think, really changes things quite a bit. And then I think the dynasty part of it as well changes it even more so because the quarterbacks are maybe the one position where, if they're, as long as they stay healthy, they can probably be on your roster for like 10 or 15 years. So they're just like that much more valuable.
for sure. That was my thinking when I picked Darnold, but that didn't really work out.
Maybe he'll still be on the Jets next year.
Maybe
Maybe they
I'm
won't draft
holding
Zach
out.
Wilson.
I'm holding out hope.
And he could get
It's the
traded too.
He
Yeah,
could. That's ideal.
hmm
I mean, Darnold over Minshew is still a great pick, and like even over Goff at the Lions, still think honestly your QBs. I think you panicked a little bit, obviously, but I think you actually nailed it as far as what you're going to panic at the 7th round and the 9th round. You pick Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. Those are still pretty good quarterback picks, considering you have what I consider probably the best running back lineup I've seen in the league.
Yes, that was the focus. I mean, really throughout the draft, I tried to go like year four and under, so I could just hold everyone as long as possible, and then drop in trade down the road. So I think later on in the draft, when people were picking like washed up veterans, I really didn't see the benefit of it, but I guess it worked out for me at least.
Yeah, and you hit on Jalen Hurts there at the very end. That was just at the very end of the draft. Of course, everyone is
Yeah.
just taking flyers on anything that might pan out eventually. And I'd rather have Jalen Hurts than who I drafted, Jordan Love, like 7 rounds earlier. So that certainly worked out for you there.
Yeah, it really did. I got really lucky there. I thought Eason would. I mean, obviously I picked him first, so I thought I would, or he would see time before Hurts did.
hmm
But that that went sideways when Wentz played horrible all season. So
Yeah, for sure.
When
Um,
we went to Jeremy, he talked about that he kind of looked at the younger players plus the older players. You look like you just picked the money players right away. Is that kind of what you were looking for when you were drafted?
yeah, absolutely. Because it was like
Yeah.
I've done I've done leagues where you pick, or where you get to keep 2 or 3 players, and you can, and they carry over to the next year. But your entire roster, that's something different. So I decided to go as young as possible, with the exception of Kirk Cousins. There, that was my panic. I need a second quarterback pick.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because I'm looking at it and it looks like you actually just picked the best player. And if they happen to be young, you picked it. But I think you picked the best player in every single round as I'm looking. Because I don't see anyone that I would be like, you should have picked them beforehand.
Mm.
Singletary was bad. That did not
Singletary.
that did not
Uh,
work. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to. He had a good first year, but I think Zach Moss
yeah.
coming into the
Okay.
picture, that I was a little
Gotcha.
unsure of what that would look like. But I think other than that, I was happy with the draft for sure. But
Yeah, I think you drafted probably amongst the best. I mean, it's hard to say. We've
I'll say
never
top
actually.
five.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting thing actually, Johnny, for us at some point to maybe
Yeah.
look at like ranking who had the best draft out of the 12 and all that kind of stuff. We never put that together, but just kind of eyeballing it. And then even having talked to some other people already, I would say you drafted really, really well, Sam. And that kind of transitioned well, I think, into the start of the season. If I can bring this up. So you've had a really good start to the season. So week one, I think. Week one, where are you here? You started off with 175 points. I
I
think
think I was
you
high point. I was high
Yeah,
point
he
total week
dropped the
one, right?
highest points. Yep.
high
He
point
dropped the
week
highest
one.
points.
It's probably feeling really
Week
good right there. Week
week two, I didn't have Christian McCaffrey, but I had him week two, and guess what happened?
lost to Johnny there.
Oh, I think it went downhill when Chubb got hurt.
Hmm.
Yes. Chubb dropped 26 that week.
No,
Hmm.
later on down the road.
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. This game he dropped 26, but the problem was Patty Mahomes dropped 27. Christian dropped 24. And then I'm just clicking on the Edelman dropped 25. Jesus.
Oh yes, and then
Alvin,
when I beat Anthony by 1 yard, 1 passing yard, I think.
yeah, 0.04. But
Hmm.
yeah, Alvin Kamara against me dropped 38. Everyone else just didn't do anything. I still won somehow, but yeah, against Anthony,
See,
that was
crazy. He was there at 11.
Kamara.
Insane.
Well,
Yes.
just looking at like his first handful of games, and I had Kamara on a different fantasy team, so I feel like I'm pretty dialed into how well he did this season. I didn't realize how strong he started. 23 points, 38 points, 44 points. That is a crazy good start. He was definitely like number one to the beginning, and then kind of hit the middle where he fell off a little bit, and then you had like the Drew Brees injury. He didn't do very much when Drew Brees was out, and you had Taysom Hill doing Taysom Hill things. So that probably definitely hurt you there in the middle too.
the
I'm curious
Singletary
what
got you with Anthony with the 16, and then Kamara with the 44. Holy crap! Sorry, keep going.
I know. I was say I'm curious what happens, now that Breeze isn't there. Hopefully, my hope is Winston wins the starting job,
Hmm.
No,
because Taysom Hill didn't really and Kamar, Kamar didn't play that well when Hill was at quarterback. So my hope is Winston starts and they're able to get some of that you know some of that same chemistry in the passing game at least.
Hmm. So kind of moving on in the season, you beat Brandon. Neither one of you had that great of a week, but it was good enough to win. Then you lost to Johan. I'm not going to go through every single week. Basically, long story short was, you
Oh,
finished
see,
fourth. What
this
you
is
happened?
peaked
where
early.
You peaked
what
early
happened here.
against Aaron. You lost to Cam Newton. By this point, you're starting Chase
Mhm.
Edmonds and
That's
Singletary.
a
Was
that's
Oh,
this
a
was this
that's
the
the
bye week
down.
for
That's the
Kamara?
see,
It
downward.
was.
Yep.
this is oh
You were top. You were 3-1. You only
I was
lost to me randomly because I just went off. But you were 3-1 when I looked at this. I was like, man, he's the best. He's one of the best players here. He had the best draft and everything. And then yeah, when you when I looked
It was
at
the
the 4 or 5 game losing streak you had, I was like, oh god, I had to be miserable for you.
Oh my goodness, you lost to me. I don't even know what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
you lost to Tyler. That should tell
that's
you.
Okay.
I think that's the point when I think I was starting to offer Ben Roethlisberger to everybody I could. Once I lost to you, I realized it was over. So I had to figure out a situation or the situation going forward because like we talked about, everybody was everyone on the roster is relatively young except for the quarterbacks. So I
Mm,
actually got Roethlisberger after the draft from I think Jasper for a second, if
hmm
I remember correctly, and then right at the trade deadline, I gave him back to Jasper and got my pick back.
Interesting. This is like a short-term rental.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice that. We were gonna look at the um where do you see here? That's good where we can see trades. So let's look at your trades. We'll go at the very, very beginning. You traded uh
and
you
Cousins.
you
Oh, no, it
traded
wasn't Jasper.
oh this is a wild trade actually right off the bat. You traded away
Yeah.
Cousins and a second round pick for Roethlisberger. You were wanting Big Ben. I'll guess if you think about it though, the Steelers started off strong, didn't they? They started off really well, and I think maybe it was Big Ben hot, or was this before the season even started?
No, they went 12-0.
Right.
No, he
And
started pretty hot, but he was not throwing as well by the end of the season. And I had Smith Schuster too as well, so that kind of made things a lot worse.
yeah, that's a really interesting trade. I I don't think it's that bad because I think Big Ben is really good. And the Steelers were. I mean, they started I think 10-0, 11-0 before they lost 6 games in a row and stuff like that. But I really think that was a good trade. I would actually do that.
Hmm. I kind of disagree. I think that, and
Yeah.
even looking at it ahead of time, I feel like Cousins and Big Ben are not that different. Maybe Big Ben, especially maybe at the start of the
Yeah.
season, you kind of figure if Ben has a good season, like Ben has the ability to have a good like top 10 season, and I think Kirk Cousins probably does not have that in him.
Yeah.
He's not solid, or he's not terrible, but he's just kind of middle of the road. Whereas like Ben actually like, if you told me like he won the MVP in 2019 or something like that, and I didn't know or something, I'd be like,
Yeah.
it's possible, you know. But if you told me Kirk Cousins won the MVP, I'd be like, no way, you
It,
got to be kidding me.
it's a second round trade that
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I thought that was okay. Like
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of like I want this person, we'll trade. Most trades that we've looked at here recently have been like first round and gone with that. So I like the second round trade. I think that's kind of cool. The Jameis Winston. Oh shit, Sam.
So you go out
you
of
and
your way
I,
to acquire.
you
This
and I are gonna be looking at the New Orleans practice for a while.
this is no this is exactly why I wanted him so bad. 'Cause I remember bugging Jeremy during the draft, and he ran out of time. We couldn't do a trade in time,
Mm-hmm.
but that's no, that's exactly why. Because I just for this situation, I figured he'd get a starting job again. The interceptions were obviously high, but the yards and touchdowns are there. He's got the arm strength, and I think this is a perfect offense for him. So I think hopefully he gets the starting job, and he can put up some good numbers.
So he
Darnell
lost.
Mooney, you were in on him.
I was just gonna say really quick about Winston. I remember he lost the starting job obviously for Tampa Bay, right? Brady goes there, but the season before he still threw like 35 touchdowns and like 30 something
Yeah.
picks, which is just insane.
I'll,
Like the 30 picks, you're like, what the hell are you doing? But if you just translate it to the fantasy numbers, didn't he finish like top 6 or something just
yeah, yeah.
because he was
Sunday
just
morning.
slinging all the time?
Sunday morning.
Yep.
He would be -6 if you did early Sunday morning, and
Mm-hmm.
then once the early games were done, he was at like 35.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous.
You did a lot of trades, so you did, I guess, 5 total. Small trade for Mooney instead of Brait. Is
Which has
Mooney?
worked out, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
then you ended up trading away Ben, or
Yeah.
yeah, you
So I
traded
think
away Ben for a second.
whoever I traded my pick to traded the pick to Jasper, and then I got my pick back. That's the same pick I used in the trade,
So you,
the original one.
so the net of that whole thing is you just lost Kirk Cousins
Kirk
for free.
Cousins, right?
It's just gone. And
Yeah.
then the blockbuster of the year, James Washington for
It's
Hinton.
not the blockbuster of the year, sir.
I beg to differ. So I'm glad that we're both here to discuss this because I was telling Johnny ahead of time. I remember this was the week right before the Broncos lost all their quarterbacks.
Yep.
It was just madness. They're like, "What do we do? The NFL? What do we do?" Like, and they're just like, "You're gonna play the game. You're gonna figure it out." And Kendall Hinton had played like high school quarterback, and I think he was like a backup quarterback in college or something like that, but he was a wide receiver. And so they're just like, go ahead, Kendall Hinton, you're the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. And at this point in the season, I think this was probably like week 9 or 10 or something. I'm already out of it. I've been getting crushed almost every single week. And Dak Prescott had gone down, and I'm just like, man, I want to start another quarterback in my super flex. Maybe this guy can get a couple of touchdowns, and I really want to beat Aaron because of how much shit talking Aaron does 24/7. So I'm just like, I'm probably gonna drop James Washington. Let's see, let's just go get Kendall Hinton. Let's make it happen. Because you very astutely didn't you add him as a free agent for like $5 or something? That was more than I was willing. You must have
Yeah,
picked
I
him up.
think we were. Someone else was. I forget who it was. Someone else was supposed to, or was rumored to be the starter that day for
Nope, he got
Denver.
him. He got him. Yeah,
Anthony
free agent.
Anthony had whoever it was, and then I picked up Hinton once I got word of what it was actually going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and then traded him right away. I tried to get draft picks, but it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't remember that trade. I was literally thinking I'm just gonna drop James Washington anyway, uh, so might as well go for it. You know what? It didn't work out, but I'm not afraid to, you know, swing for the fences every now and
Yeah.
then. So you live and you learn. It was a good time. So we've done a season recap. We've looked at your trades and everything. Have you had a chance, Sam, to take a look at kind of the landscape for next season? Who you're feeling is in like a strong spot? Anyone that you feel like might be fallen from grace or wind up in the dumpster?
Dude, let's see. Pull it up. Pull up the rosters here.
Let's see.
Okay.
Uh,
Jeremy, where's Jeremy?
I gotta go to this year's.
You
Okay,
said Jeremy?
here's
Where's
Jeremy.
he at? He is fucked, dude.
Oh dear. We've identified Jeremy in a couple of the other podcasts as well. Of course, he loses Philip Rivers. He's got Alex Smith. Carson Wentz is garbage. He does have Fitzmagic.
He has two retiring people.
Tyrod
Yeah.
Taylor. So his quarterback
No,
situation is dire.
he's fine.
No,
Why Jeremy
he
though?
is
Why Jeremy?
he is screwed. He has no. What's he gonna do for quarterback?
Yeah, I mean he does.
It
He
make
has to draft
he
somebody. He
has.
has to draft one of the rookies and hope that they're decent.
I know. You did his podcast.
We did Jeremy's podcast
Yeah,
yesterday.
last
Yes.
week.
How desperate is
Yesterday.
he? I feel like you really need someone.
He indicated some interest in the rookie quarterbacks, I would say, but I don't know if it was posturing or whatnot, but he was not didn't think that going with Wentz and Fitzmagic was the end of the world, but I'm like, I don't know, they're both bottom 15, right? They're both
I've
bottom
been.
Yeah,
15 quarterbacks.
Fitzmagic was better now, and I think his quarterback situation was as bad as mine. Obviously, I need a quarterback real bad.
But when
That's
you
why I
look,
traded for Dak.
hmm yeah, his wide receivers I think are the highlight of his team. Obviously, Diggs, Hopkins,
Yeah,
Lamb, like that's super strong. I wouldn't be surprised if that was top, 2 or 3, maybe even one,
yeah. It just
wide
sucks. His
receiver combo.
two are retiring. That really does suck.
Yeah, and then Akers
So
is good.
Jeremy, really? He
He had
said,
he had an
"Who do you-"
unlucky offseason too because he had Jonnu Smith goes to the Patriots, probably feeling good, and then you have Hunter Henry end up there. Then the other things that happen, Alex Smith and Fitzmagic goes there.
Carson Wentz going to the Colts.
Yep,
That was the worst.
that wasn't good. I guess he has Mixon.
He's I don't know. He's in some trouble.
So that's a rough
I'm trying.
team.
I'm trying to do it. I've been trying to get a hold of him for like a day,
Yeah, I saw you guys were
but
doing
hopefully,
a little secret.
yeah. Hopefully he responds. I'm trying to help him out a little bit.
Help him out. Give him one of those QBs.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Sam, what do you think of the like the number one person? Do you think Anthony's going to do it again, or do you think there's someone else that could surprise it?
No, I think I can do it. I think I can take him down.
Woo! You're the first one to say that, sir.
I like
Love
to
it.
hear that. I like to hear that. And I do. Your
Yeah.
team is good.
Your team is good, dude.
No, okay. So look at this. So go to the draft.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, look at Anthony's draft.
Uh-huh.
It's terrible. He got lucky because there were some very bad trades this season that he benefited from.
Whoa! So now you're talking shit about my trades.
Oh, it was yours.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
here.
my-
Here's the
dude.
thing. I'm glad
That was yours. Who did the Calvin Ridley trade?
that was also Johnny.
That
Oh,
was me.
So, okay,
was a
Johnny
great trade.
Johnny
I
was
need-
the one who did the pre-draft trade involving the Patrick Mahomes, traded away
Oh.
that third pick. So, right off the bat he was with Anthony there. And then right before this offseason he did the Calvin Ridley trade. Gives him Patrick Mahomes, fills Anthony's like most glaring weakness was the second quarterback spot, and gives him the best quarterback in the league. Yeah, he gets back Ridley, but Ridley is not Mahomes. Here's the thing. You should have asked for way more, Johnny. You should have asked for more. The trade is not the worst trade I've ever seen, but it's really bad with the context of that helped the league champion like fill his biggest weakness.
It's not the okay. So the pre-draft trade, I didn't have a problem with. The Calvin Ridley
You-
trade.
I need you to expand.
I was
expand on that.
beside myself. But my point was, if you look at how
You
he
were
just
still
bene-
mad
he-
about that.
Anthony had a like look at the first four running backs he drafted. He had a pretty bad draft, and he just got lucky from trades. Because I know how it goes. Because he was offering me shit trades all year, and I think people just gave in and accepted because he was getting annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
I agree.
He does give me shit trades.
I'm
24/7.
sure that's what happened because he
I
tried.
thought him and I had, like I said in our episode, I said him and I had like kind of different styles that we wanted to. I wanted the Patty Mahomes and the Christian McCaffrey. The problem is, if one of those guys gets injured, I'm dead. I'm done, and that's what happened. So now I have to adjust, and so I adjusted as much as I could.
Okay, wait. So pull up that trade. Pull up the Ridley one.
Yes, I will find it here.
There was one other. I don't think you were involved in it, Johnny, but there was one other. There was one other trade that happened that had me. I was like
Oh.
convinced that you guys had secret conversations going
No,
on.
because
There's like a secret Discord where people were like giving away their players or something. But it wasn't.
No.
I think it was. I think it was Zach, but I'm not. I can't say for sure.
most people thought, after you looked at it, it was actually a pretty good trade. And then when Tyler and I traded, it actually worked out for my team the best that it could.
Okay. Oh,
It's right
okay.
here.
Here it is.
It's right here.
It is.
Huh. I had to actually drag out Ridley and drag out the
Oh.
extra one round, which I did. And then I thought, yeah, this is a good trade because I got dead last. I have a scrotum looking at me, Sam. A scrotum looking at me. I have to win now. So what I did was I made this trade. I think it worked out really well. And you know what? I have 2 first round picks next year. We'll see.
You should not have given up those draft picks.
Yeah, I think that's where it hurts the most as well. It's like, okay, Ridley for Mahomes, like yeah, Mahomes got the edge. Yeah, you've got those draft picks. But I feel like you including those draft picks like back towards him made it a lot more even. Like
Well, no, I
Anthony should have to
switched it.
pay, right? It's like when the contenders go for it in the NFL or the NBA or whatever, like look at like the James Harden trade, like okay, the Nets get James Harden, but they gave up like their entire future to like make that happen. So if
But
it doesn't happen, they're effed.
think about this first round right now. I got the number 3 pick or number 2 pick, excuse me. I can pick anyone I want. I traded this to you, Tyler. You
Right.
know how valuable this is because you traded one of your top quarterbacks to me. I'm
Yeah.
saying I got number 2, and that's why I put that in there. And then draft picks became available, and I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I could pick a quarterback. I didn't want to pick a quarterback, so all I did was be like, you know what? I'm going to take Dak. We're going to go from that. I have a great running back core. I have a pretty decent receiving core, a decent tight end, the best kicker in the league, and we're going to go from that.
We'll go from there. So
Okay,
I'm
okay, okay.
No, you're
I'm
looking at
glad you're
his.
here to explain yourself because otherwise I would have still been going on and on.
I know, right? That's
Okay,
why I'm
look
here
at
every
that.
episode.
It
Because people,
worked
no,
out.
look at my team. Look at my team.
Oh, well, we're talking about Sam's team, but we'll look at your team really quickly. It's not
Okay.
that bad
Yeah, yeah.
because you put in your. It's not set up here, but you put Dak
That's
Prescott right
Dak.
there.
Yeah, I can't do it.
McCaffrey, James Robinson, that's solid. Ridley and OBJ, Sanders sucks. You'll have to replace him. We've talked about Evan Ingram before and how much everyone hates Evan Ingram. So you've got a little bit of. You've still got some work to do, I think. But
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree.
but it's not. I
But
mean, it's solid.
my team got better from doing that. So that's all I'm gonna say. We'll talk about Sam's team more. But seriously, like I
Yeah.
understand the trade was super frustrating to a lot of people, but I always trade to make my team better. And I told you this, Tyler, when you and I made the Dak trade. I was like, I will only trade if my team gets better.
Well, that's a good mantra to live by in a fantasy sports
I'm
format, I
glad. I'm glad.
suppose. That's good to hear.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
pretty
That's
I'm
good
just
to hear.
telling.
controversial
I'm
Sometimes
telling
I make trades and my
philosophy
team
to
everyone.
gets
have.
worse, so that's weird. That's good.
Continue on, Tyler.
Okay, well, I was just switching gears here, and probably want to go like 5 or 6 minutes longer here, and then call it so it doesn't get too long. But we're looking at Sam's team, and I think Sam's team is pretty solid. Sam, you do have the fourth overall pick, um, and that's a
Oh my
pretty
God.
valuable pick, I think, in this year's draft, especially. Like, what do you like? What are your inklings for? Maybe how the real NFL draft is going to potentially play out, and then maybe how that'll work out in fantasy. You know the order. I'm sure you've been looking at it and talk with people about it, right? I've got the first two picks because I made the trade with Johnny, so I've got 1 and 2, and then Zach has 3, and then you've got 4, and then there's people behind you. But like,
Yeah, what do you
what are
think, Sam?
observations and thoughts?
Well, I'm hesitant that I really do think I can win it next year, which is why I'm hesitant to trade that pick at all, even though you ask me every other day about it.
I sure do. I sure do. I
Yes,
ask everybody. I
because
send people pictures of the Thanos gauntlet and they say like, how many first round picks do you need? And I say all of them. These are my Infinity Stones.
I had trouble pick with Zach or like picking Sam the number 2 pick. Knowing that he's probably going to pick Trevor Lawrence, I still had problems understanding what I was going to pick. That's why I said, you know what? I'll just take Dak and we'll go from there. So I'm very curious and to see what you have to say about your pick.
I mean I don't want to
You don't have to.
say what my target is or who my target is, but I think I think I could be in a really good position if Jameis wins the starting job and becomes
I really
and
don't want that.
can be a
I
second
really need Taysom Hill to win that.
can be my second quarterback, and if I could use the fourth pick to shore up the wide receiver or tight end
Nice.
position,
Nice.
I think I will be good to go because I think Dobbins he's gonna be starting,
Hmm.
and if you I think Edmonds is going to be starting because Kenyon Drake's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'm in a good position.
Yeah, actually, I think that is pretty on point. You do have really strong running backs. Your quarterback situation is decent with Jameis and Jalen Hurts.
Tyler, I would say out of the 3 people that you've done this podcast with, I think this is the most solid team.
We'll just wait until we do my team. You were
This
just going to
is
be
Whoa,
in
whoa,
awe.
whoa, whoa! I said wait until the 3 people that you've done. Your
This
team,
is-
no, sir.
I know that I got last, but I am optimistic
you
for
got
my
last on
future.
purpose. You got last on purpose, though.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
Sam,
This is
Sam,
different.
I'll tell you right now, you
Unbelievable.
have the most solid team, and I think, yeah, you're the only person I would actually believe if they said I could win it next year. Yeah, you could.
This
Because if
is
Hurts goes off, if your 2 solid running backs, the only team that has more solid running backs than me goes off, like I think you win this whole thing.
I think it can be done.
Yeah, I agree.
I like it. That's good. Anyone that you want to put on blast? Any shots that you want to fire? Throw anyone under the bus or put anyone on notice?
Well, you and your trade offers,
Mm.
for one.
I feel like
We'll
we've been having
Yeah.
productive conversations.
We'll start. We'll start there. I feel like I offered you a very fair trade to start, and it's gotten worse and worse.
I'll have to go back into my previous messages and take a look at what they
Yeah.
were because
Go back and
I can't
look.
remember. I can't remember.
Sam, pull up his previous trades as you can, because
Nope.
trades
Nope.
he's offered me,
No,
I've been like,
Nope.
we'll
This is
Jordan
private.
Love
uh,
has been like the man
we'll
that
Privilege.
he keeps offering me.
What is this called? Attorney-client privilege, something like that.
right. I won't comment. But I guess since Discord and the sleeper app didn't work, I will also use this to try to get Jeremy's attention
Earth to
and tell
Jeremy.
him
There you
to get
go,
a hold of
Sam.
me.
And Sam, I really actually I love your draft. I think your trades were actually on point. I think it's one of the few, besides these 2 episodes that have been where I've been like, you made great moves. Because people look at my episode, people look at Jeremy's episode, they're like, you don't make enough trades. For me, they're like, you make way too many trades. But I think you actually delivered on it. Well done, dude. And I think you had, honestly, I don't admit this wholeheartedly too well, but I think your running backs are better than mine.
I'm telling you, this is the year. Anthony, you hear that?
Oh,
Everyone
shit.
in here thinks I could beat you.
You know what, Sam? I'm surprised. Last year,
Oh my
I looked at
God.
your team. I was like, damn, Sam's got a good team. And I don't know if the cards fell wrong or injuries. I don't watch your teams too close, but I was surprised that you didn't make it further. To be honest, I was pretty scared of your team from the get go. So yeah, you drafted strong.
This is the year.
I don't know when
Right.
Anthony joined, but I'm super glad that he
Ladies
did
and gentlemen,
because you
yeah.
were just on blast for the last 10 minutes, so I appreciate this.
Oh, I already know. I already put a bet in, and before I was like, I'll bet you while I'm not there, they're just gonna try and blast me a little bit while I'm not there. It's okay. It's okay. I'll listen to it. We'll see what happens. I got my own show to do, so
We just said your running back
You know,
drafting skills weren't up to par.
we need to bring this back actually because Sam, you brought up a point that I just was completely oblivious to this entire time. Was besides the trades, Anthony drafted extremely poorly, and we'll have the episode for Anthony. We don't need to go back.
Yes.
But you know what?
Yeah,
I'm
we need an
glad you
episode
mentioned
for
it.
Anthony.
Look at how bad Anthony drafted. Julio Jones, garbage. Allen Robinson was good.
Julio Jones is not
Julio
garbage.
Jones, mostly useless. He was like the 89th receiver or something. Look at, where is he? 53rd. You drafted him in the 3rd round. That's a
What's
miss.
he on a per game basis? He was injured for a while.
That's a miss. An
Calvin
unequivocal.
Ridley was good.
No.
All
You
right.
gotta look at a per game basis.
Okay, we're over time here, but look, Le'Veon Bell garbage, David Johnson garbage, Waller was good. You had some hits here, but
Yeah,
the
dude,
whole
Anthony,
second half
I
of your
think you're
draft.
next.
Where is
Anthony,
the
let's play
useful
next.
player down here? None. So we'll bring Anthony in for
before,
this, but
before we talk shit to Zach, we're gonna talk to Anthony.
so
We just look, Anthony. All we did was, you had a bad draft and you won. So all it means is we all think you do a great job at giving us horrible offers, and we eventually accept them. That's all we're saying.
You know, the wink, nod, smile wins at the end of the day every time. Tyler knows
My
this.
God.
Tyler knows the strength of the wink, nod, smile, boy.
Wink, nod, smile is strong. Cool. All right, boys. Well, we're at 35 minutes. I don't want us to go too long, so we're going to wrap it up here. But thanks, everyone, for joining. Thanks, Anthony, for joining late. Special thanks to Sam, obviously, for doing the deep dive on his team. And we'll look forward to seeing what you do in the draft with that 4th pick.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Later.